Imagine walking through life as if the ground beneath your feet was solid, only to feel it suddenly shift, cracking open into chaos. Everything you thought was stable begins to crumble. Plans dissolve, relationships falter, and silence swallows your prayers. You call it bad luck, you call it punishment. But what if it's neither? Every ancient tradition whispered of this moment. The hidden trial, the unseen gatekeeper. The Egyptians sealed initiates in dark chambers. The shamans sent seekers into the wilderness. The mystics endured the dark night of the soul. And today, the universe still tests us, but in quieter, crueler ways. With delay, with loss, with loops we can't escape. What feels like collapse is, in truth, initiation, a secret ritual written into the architecture of your life. The obstacles that appear are not random. They are symbols. They are questions, each one asking, are you ready to hold the power you've been asking for? Because here is the truth most people never hear. The universe does not hand you the key to creation until you've proved you can carry it. These trials you never chose, they are the signs. And once you see them for what they are, your pain turns into passage, your chaos into the threshold of something far greater. If life is a school, then awakening is its most dangerous subject. It does not come through comfort, applause, or ease. It comes through friction, the kind that grinds the illusions you've been clinging to until there's nothing left but truth. Every test you face is not a random strike of fate, but a deliberate recalibration, stripping away what cannot survive in the higher frequencies you're moving toward. Think of it. The seed cannot become the tree without cracking open. The caterpillar cannot become the butterfly without dissolving into chaos. The metals that shine brightest must first pass through fire. In the same way, you cannot awaken into your full creative power without walking through trials that burn away what is false, small, and unworthy of your next chapter. The pain is not a mistake, it is the initiation. Mystics across traditions knew this. The Sufi spoke of fana, the annihilation of the false self. Shamans cast seekers into nights of terror until they faced their own shadow. Even in modern psychology, Carl Jung whispered that there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Whether ancient or modern, the message echoes. The tests are the threshold, and only those who endure them with awareness emerge transformed. Here is the hidden key. The universe does not test to break you, but to prove to you what you truly are. You are not the storm. You are the one who learns to walk through it without losing your center. The trial reveals the strength that was already within you, the wisdom you could not access until the illusion of control was shattered. When you finally stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" the test ceases to be a prison and becomes a doorway. Every spiritual path, from the Egyptian mysteries to the Gnostic Gospels, hid one truth in plain sight. Before light, there is always trial. Joseph Campbell named it the hero's journey, but it's older than myth itself. It's an archetype embedded in the soul, a coded law of transformation. No one ascends without first being tested. Think of Moses wandering the desert, Jesus facing temptation, Buddha confronting Mara under the Bodhi tree. The details differ, but the pattern is the same. The hero must step into darkness before awakening to light. The myth is not just story, it is blueprint. The same laws that shaped prophets and warriors are shaping you. And here's the pivot. When your own life unravels, you're not just having a hard season, you are being placed inside the same eternal story. That heartbreak, that rejection, that collapse. It's not random chaos. It's your desert, your cave, your Bodhi tree. The hero doesn't know he's a hero when he suffers, only when he endures. This is why every obstacle matters. Because in each of them, the archetype of the hero whispers, "Do not give up. This is not punishment. This is initiation." When you recognize that your pain is patterned, you stop asking, "Why me?" and begin to ask, "What is being born in me through this?" That question alone shifts your trial from curse to calling. The universe doesn't test with written exams. Its language is symbolic. It bends time. It rearranges your relationships. It loops your experiences until you awaken. If you know how to read the signs, you'll see the fingerprints of initiation. They often arrive in 3 archetypal forms. 1. Delays and silence. You try everything. You pray, visualize, act, and nothing moves. The silence is deafening. But this is not neglect. It is gestation. Ancient initiates in Egypt and Greece were often sealed in darkness for days, stripped of all external light so the inner light could ignite. In Christian mysticism, this is the dark night of the soul. In Buddhism, it is the fertile void. The pause in your life is the same. A cocoon where nothing is visible, but everything is transforming beneath the surface. The silence asks, will you trust the unseen or collapse into doubt? 2. Loss and breakdown. A door slams. Something central is ripped away. A job, a relationship, even an identity you clung to. It feels like death. And it is. The death of a self too small for where you're going. In alchemy, lead must be broken down before it can be transmuted into gold. The fire that destroys is the same fire that refines. Sufi mystics teach that the heart must be shattered to be made vast enough for truth. Loss is not punishment, it is refinement, the chiseling away of what cannot enter your next chapter. 3. Repeating loops. The same partner who wounds you, the same financial collapse, the same inner sabotage. It circles back like a nightmare you can't escape. But repetition is not cruelty, it's curriculum. The Kabbalists call it tikkun, correction through cycles. Life is the strictest teacher. Until you integrate the wisdom, the lesson repeats. That's why loops feel heavier each time. Because the universe is insisting that you wake up, embody, and rise. When you finally break the loop, you don't just solve a problem, you graduate dimensions. These 3 signs, silence, loss, repetition, are not random suffering. They are proof that you are standing at the threshold. The question is never, why is this happening to me? The real question is, am I ready to hold the next level of who I am becoming? The moment you see the pattern as initiation, the trial itself begins to bend toward your awakening. Pain is never wasted in the language of the universe. What feels like punishment is often the sacred fire of transformation. Iron only becomes unbreakable after being thrust into flames and hammered into form. And so does the soul. Every trial is less about what is lost, and more about what is secretly being forged within you. The ancients knew this. Egyptian initiates were lowered into chambers of silence and darkness, stripped of every false identity until fear burned itself out. Shamans were symbolically dismembered in visions before they could rise as healers. Alchemists dissolved lead into chaos before coaxing it into gold. Each culture spoke the same truth. Only through the crucible does the self awaken. So when your life collapses, it is not a verdict of failure. It is the universe whispering, "Can you endure this fire without forgetting who you are?" The breakdown is an initiation, a test of whether you can carry greater power without being shattered by it. Just as a vessel must be tempered before it can hold molten gold, you are tempered by pain so you can hold light without breaking. And here is the paradox. The very thing you feared would end you is what crowns you. To walk through fire and find yourself still standing, scarred, yes, but unbroken, is to realize that the flames were never your enemy. They were your passage. The trial was never there to crush you. It was only asking one question. Are you ready to hold what comes next? The question is never how to avoid the test, but how to walk through it without collapsing. The first key is conscious acceptance. Trials sting most when you believe they shouldn't exist. But when you understand that the obstacle is the right itself, resistance softens. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means standing inside the fire with open eyes, knowing this is part of the path. The second key is symbolic resilience. Remember the hero archetype. Every myth tells of the warrior abandoned, the seeker mocked, the lover betrayed, and yet they rise. When you recall that your suffering is not random, but part of the eternal story, you stop asking, "Why me?" and begin to whisper, "Of course me. This is how heroes are made." And then comes practice. Initiation is not endured by thought alone. It requires daily ritual. Inhale as if you are breathing in strength. Write your pain onto paper and transmute it into clarity. Close your eyes and see not what has collapsed, but what is forming beyond the collapse. Breathwork, journaling, visualization. These are not cliches. They are the tools that turn chaos into gold when used with intention. Finally, remember this hidden paradox. The very thing you prayed for often requires something else to be removed. The universe cannot hand you the new while your hands are still clinging to the old. That is why manifestations are often preceded by breakdowns. What you call loss may be nothing more than the clearing of space so your conscious creation can land. The test is not blocking your desire. It is preparing the ground so that when it arrives, it does not crumble under the weight of what came before. So when the test presses down on you, remember, you are not meant to pass it in theory. You are meant to live it, to practice it, to embody it. Each conscious breath, each symbolic act, each moment of endurance is a step across the threshold. The trial will not end faster because you resist it. It will open sooner because you practice walking as the one who is already initiated. Every trial is a doorway. Most turn back at the threshold because the silence is unbearable, the loss too heavy, the loop too cruel. But initiation is never meant to be easy. It is meant to be sacred. The very resistance you feel is the weight of the crown being placed upon you. In every culture, the pattern is the same. The initiate suffers, descends, breaks, only to rise carrying fire in their hands. The Egyptians, the shamans, the mystics, all knew that tests are not punishments, but gateways. And so it is with you. If you are being tested, you are already chosen. Many spiritual teachers reveal a hidden truth. When your manifestation is near, the universe often asks for confirmation. The delays, the breakdowns, the loops, they are not proof of failure, but questions whispered by the cosmos. Do you truly want this? Are you willing to release what no longer belongs in order to receive what you've asked for? These tests are not blocking your creation. They are clearing the space for it to arrive. The paradox is this: the universe is not asking if you can endure the pain. It is asking if you can endure the becoming. The door beyond the test opens only for those who stay, who breathe, who trust. And when it does, you realize the trial was never there to destroy you. It was carving you into the vessel that could hold the very thing you asked for. So if this message resonates, understand, you are not lost in chaos. You are in initiation. Keep walking. The fire will not consume you. It will crown you. The silence will not abandon you. It will awaken you. The loop will not trap you. It will graduate you. Every step you take is already bending the trial toward your awakening. And when the door finally opens, you will see what few ever do: that the test was never separate from the gift. The gift was hidden inside it all along.